Hello, my name is Leroy Blevins. Welcome to Mysteries and Histories. In this episode here, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the blowhole that they claim in the JFK's back of JFK's head. However, before I really get into this, if you're really squeamish about seeing these images I'm about to show, and if there's any children that's under a certain age and stuff, you don't want them viewing this, I would actually stop the video now because when I'm going to be showing autopsy images of JFK and everything else to prove my point, as I always do. So if you're squeamish or anything else like that, okay, you want to turn the video off now and not continue watching it because I do have some graphic images I am going to be showing. Now, before I get into this, I want to explain something here. As a researcher, I'm always have to explain myself. I always have to prove and show my evidence and stuff like that because I really didn't want to do a video on this because I don't like doing videos that much on false claims because that's all false information. But I'm going to make this video here because the pure simple fact of it is a lot of people keeps on saying no, the fatal headshot will blow out the back of JFK's head and everything else like that. Okay, and they're going to the altering images and films and all the stuff just to match up their story. However, information gets lost, okay, and evidence even gets lost because all these false claims is going on, just like the back of JFK's head exploding out. Okay, now I've seen reports, I read all the medical reports and gone over all the stories and stuff like that, and there's a lot of them that really doesn't match up or anything like that. However, even just like the blowhole in the back of JFK's head where it exploded outward, okay. Now there's a lot of people keeps on saying, well, this doctor and this doctor, we're talking about 12 to 25 doctors or so seeing this gaping hole in the back of JFK's head. However, this is not true. Because this is exactly what happened was when they took JFK to Parkland Hospital, Mrs. Kennedy had JFK's head covered completely up. And when they brought the gurney out, she wouldn't put it on the gurney until they cover up JFK's head. So Clint Hill, Secret Service agent Clint Hill, took off his coat and covered up JFK's head before they even took him into the hospital. Then when they went in an emergency room, there had approximately be about 2, maybe 3 doctors the most. Because remember, Governor Connolly got shot as well, and he's in the operating room as well. So there was approximately about 2 or 3 doctors present, and maybe a couple nurses or so, and Secret Service agents and police officers and everything else. That was in this one little small emergency room. Now, when they got done trying to revive Kennedy, and they found out they couldn't revive him, and they went ahead and pronounced him dead and everything else. They covered his body back up again. They covered up his head completely and everything else, and they brought a casket into the emergency room. They placed his body in there, and he closed the casket and had it shut, sealed, before they even left that room. So I kind of think about this as reality now. How did all these doctors, dozen doctors or so from Parkland Hospital or more, and all these dozens of nurses or more, seen this big gaping hole in the back of JFK's head when there wasn't that many in there? Okay, so this is what we got to look at. If their testimonies and their eyewitness accounts doesn't fit in that story or the evidence that they have, that's why they throw it out. They don't look at it that way. Okay, but all these other researchers and all these other people want to keep on pointing out this one thing because they want to prove a frontal headshot. Okay, that's what they're always looking at, a frontal headshot. Okay, and that's what they want to try to prove that there was a conspiracy going on, which I've got enough evidence I've shown in my videos and stuff to show there was other gum in there, there was a conspiracy and stuff like that, but they still want to point out this gaping hole in the back of JFK's head. So what we're going to do here first, before I even bring up the doctors and all this other stuff, is we're going to sit here and look at the Mormon photo. Now, the Mormon photo was taken soon after the fatal headshot in JFK's head exploded. She snapped this picture. Do you see a gaping hole in the back of JFK's head? I'll let you look at it for a minute where my cursor is. This is JFK's head, Mrs. Kennedy. Governor Connally is over here. And then Mrs. Connally, the passenger in the front seat of the limo. But there's no gaping hole in the back of JFK's head. It's not even open up or anything else. Okay, but they claim he was still shot in the front and the head exploded out towards the back. Now, I'm also going to point out some other stuff as I go along as well. Now let's look at the Zapruder film. We're looking at frame 313, and I'm going to zoom in, and we see here, right here, on this location right here, JFK's head explodes open in frame 313. Here's frame 315. Again, we see this part of JFK's head's open up, but we can see the back of JFK's head, and it's still no gaping hole or no open wound or anything in the back of the head. Now, let's look at this close-up right here. As we see here, Mrs. Kennedy's got Mrs. JFK holding like this, and we see this part of JFK's head right here. This part right here is completely gone, and this part right here is hanging down, open up. The back of his head, there is no gaping hole or anything like that. And this is in the Zapruder film. Now we're going to go into autopsy images. As you see here, we see they're measuring the bullet holes in the back of JFK's head, but there is no gaping wound anywhere here, 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 or here. And I'm going to show you why I'm pointing out this location, this location, this location, and this location. Okay, I'm going to show you this in a minute. Now, there is no gaping hole. This is when it was measuring the bullet hole in the back of JFK's back. Again, no gaping hole in the back of JFK's head. Now let's go in this autopsy image here. Now this is JFK laying on his back and with his scalp just hanging open, which is just right here, as you see where my cursor is. Okay, this is where this is exploded open here, and now it's just hanging back. And you can see skin, brain matter, and everything else hanging out. Now, this is JFK's face. This section over here is what blown out right here. Okay. Now, I want to show you something. Do you see an entry wound anywhere in JFK's head? I don't see it. I don't see none of autopsy images or any other images where there's a bullet hole anywhere along here. There's none here or anywhere else right in here. Along his forehead, his eyes, his nose, there's no bullet holes. Okay, for the bullet to explode out the back, wouldn't a bullet have to enter somewhere around here? Now, when I point this out, there's going to be people who will say, oh, well, they did a makeup job on him. They cover this up, they cover that up, they did a makeup job and everything else. They're going to come up with excuses, okay? I'm not coming up with excuses. I'm showing you facts. I'm showing you evidence. I'm showing you images. They're just going to come up with excuses because that's all they know how to do. When they are trapped in a corner, okay, they're going to come up with an excuse to go around it to throw you off, okay? That's what they do. Now again, we see here, right side of JFK's head, and we see that gaping hole on the side here where his head opened up and it's all hanging there. Okay, again, if you watch my cursor, there's no entry wounds here, 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 anywhere around here, there's no entry wounds whatsoever. The bullet entered here on the right, but there's no entry wounds right here anywhere. Now, this is the other side of JFK's head. This is the left side. Do you see any entry wounds right here? Do you see any here, 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 here? Do you see any opening or blood dripping down from this side of the head or anything else like that? Do you see any entry wounds right around here? No, you don't see none. Same again, we go back here. This is the back of JFK's head. Here's with him laying on the side. There's no gaping hole in the back of his head anywhere. There's the piece of bone right here from the skull laying open. That's attached to the skin, hanging there. That's his right ear. Okay, now we're going to go into the autopsy images where they have the inside of his skull open up. This is the back of JFK's skull. This is open. This is with him laying on his right side, on left side. Again, no blowhole in the back, just right here. This whole section right here is blown up, right here. This section here is still intact, as you see right here. See it right here? Still intact. This is the right side of JFK. This is the back of his head. This is the back of his scalp. There's no big blowhole in the back as they claimed. Now, here is an image of the skull. This completely is gone right here. This is gone. Now, there is cracks in between the skull where it was laying open from the head exploding, and when they did their incisions and stuff like that, open up so they can get, inside of JFK's head and everything else. But again, as I point out here, there is no big blowhole as they claimed in the back of JFK's head. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull up the images that doctors claim that where they seen this hole, this gashing hole. As you watch this guy right here, he says the hole is right here. The hole's right here. Okay, see where my hand is on the back of my head? Right here. And the next doctor right here, as you see, he says it's back here some. Now it's back here. Then we go down to here, which I want to bring up. This doctor here, as you see his hand right here, because I know I'm in this location. But right here, you see he's going right here. He's saying right here. Okay, which is in the spot what we see in the films. Then we go to the next doctor, and he's back here. Okay, so now we got a doctor that's saying it's right here, right here, right here, and right here, right here. But now we're going to look at the drawings they done. And as you see here, there's his ear right there. It's supposed to be JFK's ear. Now they got the blowhole down here. Blowhole's right here now. Okay, it's right here now. It's not here. It's not here. It's not here. And it's not here. As they're pointing out, it's right here now. So see, they're pointing all different locations in the back of the head, except for this one doctor here. As I point out, he's pointing as right here. Okay, it's right here. Okay, as you see here. But however, they want to keep on pushing this fact that there's a blowhole in the back of JFK's head is right here. But there's no entry wounds anywhere in JFK's face. But there's this big blowhole back here. Now, when I talk about this, and I said, well, the first shot came in the back of JFK's head. That bullet came in, but it didn't exit out. Okay, and then when the other bullet struck JFK on the right side of the head, they made contact with each other. That's why his head exploded open right here, and there's bullet fragments all over. Okay, now a lot of people look at it and go, oh, no, that's not right. That's not right, because he had a frontal shot to JFK. He has this big blowhole in the back, because all these doctors can't be wrong. Well, they were wrong. Okay, just like people don't understand. When a bullet, okay, they act like a bullet enters a body and is supposed to exit all the time. Okay, even in the head. There's actually, if you look at records and reports, you watch the news or read newspapers and stuff like that, you will see that people were shot either in the head or, in the body anywhere. They go to the hospital. They get rushed to the hospital. And what do? They pull them bullets outside of someone's head. They pull bullets out of somebody's body and stuff like that. The bullet didn't go through. And these are different types of guns, just like in the military. In World War I, World War II, the Korean War, okay? There was guys getting lead pulled out of their head, out of their stomach, out of their chest, and everything else. The bullet didn't go through. And the bullets that was used in the JFK assassination was the same type of bullets they used in World War I, World War II, and everything else. Okay? So they can't sit there and say, well, no, if there's an entry wound, there has to be an exit wound. A bullet can enter somebody, but it does not have to exit, because that's why I said, when I pointed out the fact that JFK was shot in the back of the head and the bullet entered 15 centimeters, and then when the other bullet entered it, that's when JFK's head exploded, because they made contact. And they said no, because if there was an entry wound, there has to be an exit wound. Okay, that's what they point out. But how you explain all these people that got shot in the military, that was in war and everything else, why did they have to go through an operation to get the bullet? They should just be able to go in there, stop the bleeding, sew the front, sew the back, because the bullet's gone, but they're pulling lead out of them still. Okay, when I look at my research, I look at it in reality, okay? I have to look at it at different angles, okay? just like I said, I didn't really want to show this, okay, this information stuff, because I usually don't like talking about stuff like this when there's no evidence to back it up. But people keeps on pushing the issue. What about the blowhole in the back of JFK's head and everything else? So they could try to prove there was a frontal headshot. There wasn't. There's no evidence to show that. Just like I sit there pointed out by the doctors that we see here, which I'm pointing up again, and we see here, doctors are putting the head wound in different locations, even in the back and stuff. And even when they did the drawing was done, it was down here, right behind the right ear, like basically this. Now, like I said, it goes from here, it goes from here, it goes from here. Now it's down here. Okay, they're put in different locations. So how can all these doctors claiming they've seen this and seen that when they're contradicting each other? Because one doctor's saying it's here, but the other doctor's saying it's here, but another doctor's saying it's here, another doctor's saying it's here, and then we have a drawing that shows it in completely different locations that these guys are pointing out. Okay, so this is the things I'm talking about. We cannot use this as evidence. This is why they look at this and they go, no, this never occurred, because of they're conflicting with one another on their stories. They're putting an exit wound in different locations and everything else. This is why we can't use this as evidence. And that's why the government didn't use it as evidence, because their stories wasn't matching what they were seeing. I hope this answers some questions, because I can go in more and more details, but then the video will have to be almost 4 or 5 hours long if I even show more evidence to show that JFK's head didn't explode out of the back. Okay, remember, when the doctors came out, start saying that, then eyewitnesses start coming out saying that. That's why I said one thing leads to another, and then people's stories start getting messed up because they keep on contradicting one another, because they're only saying what they read already. They're only saying what they was told. Okay, but they're not actually telling you the truth in a lot of it, because there's a lot of eyewitness accounts from eyewitnesses that doesn't match up at all what they was talking about. That's why I had an eyewitness actually came to me, because even an eyewitness himself came to me and asked me would I do an investigation into the JFK assassination, because everything that they seen and heard did not match any of the stories they read, any of the documentaries they seen, any of the movies they seen, did not match. They said it didn't match anything that they actually seen themselves that day. Then when I got done with my research, I sent it to them, showed them it, talked to them. They said, now that is what everything that you pointed out, everything you said, everything you talked about, and I pointed out, they said that matched everything that they was actually seeing that day. So I didn't jump into JFK assassination to get my name out there, to get fame, to get money and stuff. That's not me. My research is about truth, okay? And I wanted to explain that to people. And then when people's leaving comments or even write me emails and stuff says, explain the hole in the back, why should I explain it? Why does these other researchers don't have to explain anything? Say, just read my book and just base your stuff on what I put in my book. That's what they tell you. But when it comes to me, they want me to explain, well, this and that. Well, why this person is. I don't like going into other people's research or trying to prove them wrong or anything. Just that's why I had a hard time thinking if I should do this or not, because all these other researchers basing their research on a hole in the back by what doctors say. But when we go by photographic evidence and we go by reports and everything else, we see there's a lot of stuff that's not adding up. And when you show evidence of stuff like that and you prove your point, they want to start something back with you saying, oh, well, no, wait a minute, I said this. I don't want to get in that conflict with other researchers, because I do respect all researchers, no matter what type of research is doing. I do respect that. And I just want to make this video here because, like I said, I always have to prove myself. Other researchers don't have to, but I do. And I don't understand that when they're going to sit there and say the hole is back here. Well, then show me where's the entry wound out on JFK's face. Show me exactly where that location, where that bullet was fired from. Show me what type of bullet shot JFK. Show me. You see, I keep on saying show me, but they don't have to. But when it comes to my research, I have to all the time. So I want to make this video here. I didn't want to, but now I made it. And don't forget to tell your friends about us. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm probably going to make one more video after this, and that'll be it for today. Thank you, and have a nice day.